basically what we do here at the Muritala Mohammed International Airport. We have two forms of screening that we do, what we call the primary screening and then the secondary screening. In primary screening, we do three things. We have a form that we use to collect information from the passengers who are entering Nigeria. It's a self-reported form, but there are salient information that are contained in that form that we can use at any time when the need arises. Also, there is what we call physical observation. So as the passengers are disembarking, someone is actually observing them without them knowing for what we call the respiratory symptoms. So if we ever find anybody that has respiratory symptoms like coughing, sneezing, we'll ask the person to step aside. Then the final line, on our screening, the primary screening, is the thermal scanners. What they only do is to pick the temperature of the passengers who are coming. And then as a backup too, we have the infrared scanners too, or the handheld infrared device for measuring temperature too. Those are non-contacts, but we have a definition of the temperature at which we can raise an alarm. So the primary screeners in the form, if they observe anybody having any of the symptoms of interest, of course they ask the person to proceed for secondary screening. Or if the thermal scanners pick up a temperature above 38 degrees Celsius, they ask the person to proceed with the secondary screening. Of course, the primary screening carried out by the environmental health officers, while the secondary screening carried out by the doctors. So that's basically what we do. And that's exactly what happens in every other airport around the world where this screening is done at the point of entry.
So do the equipment get more state-of-the-art than this?
This is actually the best in my own, as far as I know, the thermal scanners. That's what people use all around the world. It's an improvement on the handheld device, which is used for screening for temperature.
So I'd like you to talk me through the contact tracing forms that I see you give some of the passengers here. What's the process like?
All right, so the form contains the person's details, the biodata, and then the flight information, where the person is coming from, the flight name, the seat number, and then the passport number of the person. And then also, we have a section for the symptoms, or if the person felt ill while they're traveling. So those information are vital for us, in the screening for coronavirus. And, it's something we hold, we store it based on the flight. So at any point in time that we have to use those forms, we know the flight, we know the time it came in, and then we can go and pick up those forms and look for anybody that we want to look for in that form.
So I see that some passengers, specifically from China, once they leave the queue, they are taken to another area for checks. What goes on there? All
right, so for the extra scrutiny we give to people who are coming in from China, of course, no longer China now, because we have other 4 countries that have been added to what we call the case definition for coronavirus, travel history to those countries. But all this while we try to pay, much more attention, a detailed attention to, the information contained in the forms they fill. We want to be sure that the address they filled in is correct, the numbers they filled in, they are correct, and they want to ensure that every detail that they filled in, they are correct. But currently we're extending that to even the other countries where so much community transmission of coronavirus have been established. So that's exactly what is happening.
So I saw a passenger who had problems filling in all the details required on the form, and that kind of became a, I don't want to say altercation, but that's what actually happened there. So what happens in a situation where a passenger is unable to give accurate information because they cannot remember at the point where it is needed?
All right, so we try as much as possible to use all means to see if we can get that information. If it's language barrier, we'll try to see if we can get somebody who can help. Like some of the Chinese who are coming into Nigeria, they don't speak English. They cannot write or speak or read in English. So what we'll try to do on the interim, we'll try to find other Chinese nationals on the same flight who can actually speak English or understand English to help them interpret what was in the form and help them fill the form. For Nigerians who cannot read or write in English, most times the port health staff, assist them in filling those forms. So that's exactly what we do here from time to time. When we meet passengers who cannot fill the form as a result of language barrier, we try to help.